This is going to be a short one because I'm so tired, dude. But I'm going to tell you, with some introspection that I've done, why I tend to relapse on whatever the goal may be. In this case that we're talking about, okay, hold on one sec. That's better. In this case, it has to do with like semen retention, right? But this applies to sugar. This applies to creating habits. This applies to a lot of things. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell you what I did wrong, and may that help you do some introspection. Okay. Um, I think I'll make a video soon, kind of talking about this in more detail. I want to make this quick, but I don't think I'll be able to go to bed unless I like explain this. So here you go. Let's see. It's quite simple, honestly. Um, Here we go. Usually our addictions, and by addictions I mean a lot of things more outside of substances, but those are still applicable here. Bad mental health creates bad habits and addictions and vices. Okay, so whatever you're struggling with, it usually has a lot more to do with problems internally rather than the problem itself, right? And this has been a hard thing for me to learn, I think, and figure out. So, uh, low self esteem, fear. What else? Lack of self worth, anxiety, I think, or probably mine. And those don't necessarily, like, I'm not thinking, like, oh man, I'm anxious, I'm afraid, I have low self worth, and then I go make bad choices. It's when I don't do things to prove myself otherwise that I go make bad choices. So here you go. The best way to combat those internal problems, is to create a new self image. And that does not mean changing your identity and being like, well, I'm a different person. And you have to, man, my finger's jacked up from basketball. Like, you can't just tell people, yeah, I'm a different person now, haha. Because it doesn't work. They're just going to punch you. I hope not, but I wouldn't be surprised. They won't take you seriously. That's because you have to prove to yourself that that you've changed, that you are actually a different person. So this is where the concept in like Christianity and other religions of like repenting and changing and becoming whole, that's where this comes from. It's the same thing, except, well, inherently. We could go on the whole discussion of how like we could go into my personal beliefs, but that's different, right? Thing is, you got to reinvent yourself, and for a lot of guys, it's like, oh, I want to get to no fap day 432, and that doesn't do anything for you. That goal doesn't do anything for you, I should say, because your identity is going to be something along the lines of, I'm starting nofap. And every single time you mess up, your identity is, I messed up, I suck at this. And it's taking forever to get better, right? And you still don't see yourself very highly. So that's a problem. And you're not going to get very far with that mentality. So how do we fix that, right? It's not so much that I want to be nofap master should be your goal. I mean, it can be a goal, I suppose. And it's also not, you can't focus on the fact that you're messing up in your goal, right? But let's talk about sugar. Dude, if you're going on a sugar fast and you're trying to eat no processed sugars, so basically anything that's not fruit, for, you know, as long as you can, right? Try to change up your diet. This mentality still applies. How do we reinvent ourselves in a way that we don't still think ourselves as trash? Because if you're still messing up on your goals every couple days, you're gonna feel like trash, right? Well, the last 3 days I have missed my meditation. I did a 30-day yoga challenge, and I haven't touched yoga since, which was about over a week ago. So I'm already less in control of my thoughts, less in tune with my emotions, less in tune with my body. And I haven't been, there you go. I haven't been prioritizing these videos, which is a purposeful thing for me to do. So, with that being said, I have basically set myself up for failure because it put me in the right situation where I'm tired and I'm not alert enough. And there you go. Because again, I'm not in tune with my emotions or my thoughts at all. Because I haven't meditated in like 3 days. Like, yeah, just circumstantially too. Because everything I've had to do was in the morning, but I wasn't disciplined enough to just do it in the afternoon. Same thing with yoga. I have not prioritized it. I haven't even thought about it. So there's that. And then these videos I've also not been prioritizing. So there you go. My identity, I am lacking purpose because I'm not focusing my videos. And I'm lacking self-respect and worth and control because I'm not meditating. And I don't feel like myself because I'm not doing yoga. I'm not in tune with myself. So after a little bit of thinking, the problem was not that it's 12 p.m. and oh, I'm tired, and you can make excuses like, oh man, dude, I was hungry. That's not the actual problem. It has nothing to do with like your libido. Not in this case. And in most cases it doesn't. It has to do a lot more with something more internal, something more connected to your soul rather than your brain. So something a little more spiritual. So within a couple minutes I was able to identify that, and I thought, okay, I don't need to have the anxiety of, shoot, what if I'm like, and also I don't keep track of my streaks either because that just gives you more anxiety, which makes life harder. Do everything to optimize against anxiety, to have as little as possible at all times, right? So instead of being like, well, dang it, this goal, sugar, semen retention, the gym, I failed, I'm back on day one. There's no day one, dude. There's no day one because there's no day 50. You're not keeping track. That's not who you are. You know why that's not who you are? Because starting now, you're the person you want to be. You meditated today. Cool. You're a guy that meditates. You did yoga today. Okay. Yeah, you're a guy that does yoga. You're in tune with your body. That's awesome. Just like that. You have to take it one day at a time, which is how you completely forget about the streaks. If you're not taking it a day at a time, you will worry about it. You'll worry about the streaks, and that makes you anxious, and it messes you up. So that's where I am. I'm going forward. I also need to journal a little more, things like that, right? These are things I just need to take into account and prioritize. So yeah, I hope that was insightful. This has been insightful for me. So yeah, I'm not worried. I think a lot of times when we fail at our goals, like eating sugar, weird um, animalistic anxiety fills you. So it's like, okay, I failed at my goal of eating sugar. Now I'm going to binge, right? Because you're worried. Well, what if I do it again? Oh my gosh, what if I do it? I'll just do it again now because I'm going to do it again anyways, right? You're going to convince yourself of garbage. It's the same thing with all sorts of stuff, all sorts of things we're trying to overcome. So I'm not worried though. No, because I know exactly what I'm doing tomorrow. I've got a plan. So yeah, I hope that was insightful for you, and I'll help you out. So, all right, you have a good rest of your day. Adios.